Alright everyone, welcome back for another video on Legend of Mushroom. You are a lot to ask me about that, about the Avians, how to breed them, how to increase the chance to have the perfect Avian, and the affixes we want. I want to make that video for you guys. So I'm gonna go step by step and telling you everything I know about the Avians. I think that I'm gonna be pretty correct on everything that I'm gonna say, but if you feel like there is a better way to increase the chance to have some Avians, by the way, because you are more experienced, I don't know, just don't forget to tell that in the comment below or reach me out on Discord. But hey, let's just go on the Avians and let's just check why I want to do that video. I recently had an amazing Avian with 3 legendary affixes and I just want to talk about that. So this is the Avian. I got terminal strike, multiple shots, no speeding and debuff immunity. So 3 amazing legendary affixes here and a pretty nice yellow one. And a pretty high growth coefficient as well. First of all, the first thing you need to do when you are trying to breed, if you are starting on a new server, you need to open the book here and try to find the affixes you want to have. For example, if I try to go, if I remember, here on that duck, you have the terminal strike here, you have the no speeding, okay? And the fact that you have these affixes written in here in that book, it means that if you try to breed that Avian, even if you don't have any of the legendary affixes, just by breeding that Avian, you have a chance to proc one of these on the baby. Okay, so this is how you can acquire no speeding or terminal strike. You need to breed that Avian, then once you have that, you can just breed the Avian with no speeding with the Avian of your choice and you will have a chance to pass down that affix to the baby. This is the first step. The first step is to try to have the affixes you want on, it doesn't matter the Avian, and after that you want to try to pass down the affixes you want on the Avian you want. If your goal is to max out your main stats here, such as the combo for example, or the counter, or the crit resistance, crit damage, you have blue affixes that are the best in fact. Don't try to get the legendary affixes for that. The best one is the shroom combo if you want to increase your combo damage, then barrel dodge to increase your crit damage, your crit resistance, then you have rage bonus for your crit damage, regen ability to increase your regeneration, the best one to have, and one more time, that's a blue. Talent skill for your skill damage. And then the purples are going to be better than the others because you will get a way better coefficient here for the skill damage, the skill crit damage, 15%. Of course, you are losing another stat, but generally you don't care when you are a mage to lower your combo or stuff like that. Okay, so the purples are going to be the best after the blue ones. This is ridiculous, I know, but this is the truth. And here, if you want to increase your boss damage against the strong, is going to be the best one. Then you have a few legendaries that are absolutely god tier. You have the punch counter. This one for warrior builds. With your counter strikes, you are going to have a chance to deal some damage based on the current HP. And it helps a lot to deal a crazy amount of damage on tanky builds, on everyone in fact in PvP. So I recommend to go for this one if you are a warrior class. The best one to have. If you are an archer class, multiple shots will be the equivalent. If you are a mage class, win tier is going to be the equivalent with the skills. Then you want to try to have no speeding to reduce the skill duration of the enemy. So it means the skills that are dealing some damage over time on your character, or the blitz assault duration, so the damage immunity, or the shield durations and stuff like that. If you are an archer and your goal is to reduce the controls and be the first to attack in battle in PvP, debuff immunity is going to be your best friend. And you need to pair that with no speeding, and so you will be able to lower the duration of the blitz assault on the target and reduce your control, so you will be the first to attack and start dealing some damage directly after the end of the blitz assault. I still need to try Rage Slash, but I'm pretty sure that over time you're gonna have way more attack during a fight, and in PvP, if you are using a tanky build and deal some damage based on max HP, that could be a good solution. Then a very important one for PvP at the moment, because players are using a lot of regeneration and heals, this one terminal strike, so with every basic attack you can wound the target and he will receive less heals. And then of course you will find some other affixes that can be great to be used, but it's just up to you to decide whether you want to go for more damage or more survivability and stuff like that. And in my case, as an archer class, I want to pass down these affixes on the Sunshine Bringer for example, or on the Firefly, because this is the best one to increase your damage over time because you are reducing the damage resistance of the target by 15% for 5 seconds and every 16 seconds. So to increase your damage, this is the best one if you are a pre-monarch and if you want to deal some damage based on combo and crit damage, okay? So then you have like this one for PvP, if you are an archer or stuff like that, then it's up to you to decide what avian you want to have and what you want to try. I tried most of the avians in the game and yeah, I can just tell you that this is the best one to increase your damage in PvE or in PvP if you try to do some combo or crit damage. This one, you can reduce the controls you are taking on your character, so it's great for a pre-monarch or a sacred hunter class in PvP. And you have this one at the moment really prized by the top players of the game because they have a lot of HP and tankiness and they can deal a lot of damage based on max HP every 5 seconds after the start of the fight. Then I know that the Dark Lords were playing with this one because every time you're casting a skill you're having some more damage and this is a very good one for that. If you are an archer class, you can still use this one. This is only a blue one, so very easy to get, and you will have some more attack speed. This is another great one to use. Then today we have some others. If you are using a tanky build, you can try to use this one. If you want to attack tanky players, so you will deal some damage based on max HP, but you have better solutions in my opinion. I feel like the Horus is gonna do better. You will deal some damage based on the max HP of the target, but more often than with this one. So I recommend to go for this one for the damage based on max HP, or you can do something else. It depends if you are using a tanky build with a lot of regen. I would recommend to go for this one because every time you're gonna be healed 16 times, you are gonna proc that effect. And so if you have a lot of HP, this is probably the best one today to deal some damage based on your current HP. If you are a tanky build with a lot of regen from many different sources like the regeneration, the healing amount, the heals with the pulse attacks, or the combos or the counters or stuff like that, this one is just going to be wonderful. Then you have another solution here. This one is pretty good if you want to stun the target. So if you are facing a pre-monarch, this is pretty nice in PvP, so you are going to have more controls. And then this one was limited, so if you're starting on a new server, you need to wait for a merge, otherwise you won't be able to get it. But it's not the best one, so we don't really care about that. If your goal now is to reduce the cooldowns on your skills, this one is the best one to take. Every 13 seconds, you will increase your skill regen by 25% for 5 seconds. That is just an amazing one. We were playing that with Prophet class, so it can help to recover your skills faster. An amazing one, and today I know that many tank builds are using this one as well. Or instead, you have this recent one doing the same, almost the same. In fact, it's more random because you are not reducing the cooldowns on all your skills, but on 5 skills at random every 15 seconds and by 2 seconds each. So you can proc that 5 times on the same skill or 1 time on every skill. So that's another good one. So if you want a resume for the different classes you have in the game, the best avian for the warrior tanky build, the regen, is the big guard here. This one is gonna help you a lot to deal some more damage to the target. If you're using a pre-monarch based on DPS, a high burst, you want to go with the Sunshine Bringer because you are gonna reduce the controls in PvP, and this one is the best one for that. Otherwise, if you want to max out your damage with the combo crit damage, you need to take the Firefly. If your goal is to reset the cooldowns, you can take the cat here, or you can take the cloud, the blue cloud here. These are amazing. If your goal is to deal some more damage based on your skills, you want to take the pumpkin here. And if you have a lot of HP and regen, the best thing to take is this one definitely here. And the others are just some replacement. So now it's time to talk about the breeding. So here I have a 4 slot because I'm buying the monthly card and I can get an extra slot and I can reduce by a bit the time I need to breed my avians. So it helps me a lot. And talking about the time, you have at the moment in the parking wars here in the shop a card that you can buy, and I know that many of you are asking me what is it worth it to buy that card? And in fact I want to answer no, because first of all it's very expensive, and you are just going to reduce by a few hours the time you need to breed. 6 hours instead of 9 hours. This is not that worth it, because during one day you won't have time to breed 2 times your avians, or it means that you play a lot during the day but you do whatever you want then. I recommend to spend your parking coins on everything else, but not the card here. Another thing very important, if you want to max out your chance to obtain some affixes on your Avian, the first goal is going to be to have like 2 affixes, then 3, then 4, and once you have 4, your goal is going to be to have the right affixes on your Avian. And to maximize your chance, I'm going to show that to you in a moment, but one few tip, for example, here I tried to breed these two, but I have only a few percentage of chance to proc the 4 affixes because this one has a 3 and this one has 4. Okay, so it can still proc with 4 affixes, and if you have 2 Avians with 3 affixes, you have a small chance to proc a 4th affix. This is how it works, and it works the same with the different affixes you have on them. For example, if I show you this one, I have Terminal Strike, multiple shots, and no speeding, debuff immunity. And if I want to pass this down to the other Avian, or have a combination of the affixes on my different Avians, if you have some of these on your other Avian, you are going to maximize your chance to obtain the same affixes, okay? So here, for example, I'm breeding these two, and I have absolutely nothing in common. So my chance to obtain the ones I want are very, very small. And so here, in that case, I have no speeding terminal strike, and if I check on this one, I have no speeding and shroom combo, and they are in common here. So I have more chance to obtain these 2 affixes on the baby. And this is how you need to work if you want to obtain the affixes you want. If I check these two, I have only rage bonus in common, but I'm trying to pass down a rage slash and no speeding multiple shots. So I have only a really small chance to obtain that, but I am forced to go with that, then check the results of the breeding. If I am at least to be lucky, I'm gonna have like 2 or 3 affixes I want on the baby, and if I have that baby, I can reuse that to get the affixes I want to maximize my chance to have the perfect affixes on my baby. I don't know if it's clear. Write down in the comment below if you understood. And sometimes on the baby, you can proc a mutated affix. Sometimes you have some malices and sometimes you have some bonuses. Some bonuses that can increase the effects of the other affixes, for example, or lower the time you need to breed or stuff like that. Or here, this one is a malus. It's gonna increase the time to breed by 10%. And you can't pass down the mutated affixes to the babies. It's fully random and very rare. Okay, so if you can get one on a great Avian, then it means that you are really lucky. And one more thing about the breeding, here you have the growth coefficient. The higher the growth coefficient of your 2 Avians, the higher the growth coefficient of your baby. So you need to try to increase that coefficient, and you have something that has been added to the game recently, the Avian Rebirth. So you can just select the Avian of your choice, and generally try to do that on an Avian with only a small rate here. Then you need to use these peels if you want to have a chance to increase the growth coefficient. It can increase that coefficient or it can reduce that coefficient, so be careful, guys. So here, if I try that, for example, when it's red, it means that you have a less efficiency. But if I retry, that time it's blue and I have a bit above, and the max growth coefficient is 1.5. The higher the growth coefficient, the more the stats are gonna be given by your Avian on your character. So your character is gonna have more HP, defense, and attack. So you want to be as close as you can from the 1.5, which is the maximum you can have, and the 0.5 is the minimum. Then there is something more that I would like to talk about. If you go here and try to breed 2 Avians, if you are doing that, you can have that button, and if you click on that button, you can see the rate you have to obtain the Avians in the game. So here I used 2 times the Firefly, so I have a higher chance to obtain another Firefly, 70% chance, but I can obtain another one if I am not lucky. And you have as well the growth range here, telling you that your baby is going to be in that range for the growth coefficient. So the higher the growth coefficient of the parents, the bigger the range here. The higher the coefficient on the baby, I mean. And if I decide to go with another one, for example, a different legendary, if I check, I have the same percentage of chance to obtain one or the other. And then, as always, I have some rates to obtain the others, of course. But it doesn't impact the growth coefficient here. Then, if I try to breed a legendary with a normal one, if I check the preview here, I have more chance to obtain the normal one than the legendary. And same comments, by the way, if I try to breed a legendary with only a blue one, these are the rates. less than 10% chance to obtain the legendary, but you still have a chance. And 66% chance to obtain the blue one you selected. Then, still talking about the breeding system, you can find 2 more things on that interface. First of all, you have the generation. So when you start on a new server, your first avian will be generation 1 when you will open your first egg. And then when you will breed 2 avians generation 1, your baby will be generation 2. If you breed one avian with the generation 42 with 1 avian generation 1, the baby will take the highest generation, so the generation 43. And the higher the generation is, the more the time you will need to breed. If I take these 2 for example, normally they are generation 0 and 2 and it's gonna take only 11 minutes, okay? But once I try to do that with another avian with a higher generation, then you can see that now it reached the maximum amount of time. And something more, one more time, you have that coefficient here at the top. This is the number of time you used that avian to breed, and it's gonna need more time to recover after breeding one time. For example, if I go here, if I check my avians, you can see that on this one, I still need to wait more than 1 hour. This is the time you need to recover, and if I check this one, I need to wait 4 hours, and I know that on my most used one, I need to wait like 18 to 19 hours in total after one breeding to breed the avian again. So it might be very difficult after that, but there is something that you need to avoid. You have your companion list, and you can share some avians with the other players here, and this is very important. First of all, very nice for the other players on your server to share your good avians here, so you can try to enhance the power of your server members. And this is great for the cross-server events, because you are a team and you are not playing alone, so this is very important to share your best avians here. And if you don't want too many players to use these avians to breed, then you can just lock your avians and people can just come. I'm just gonna try to find an example here. It's not written here, but if I go to breeding and if I try to breed with the avian of someone else, sometimes you will see the lock. Here, I don't have the permission, so I can just ask that person if I can have the permission, and if he accepts, I will be the only one to be able to breed that avian. So this is why here I recommend to do that, and as you see, I did that for some of my avians, and so that coefficient here remains really low, so I can recover faster and use it to breed more often. And then this is very important to have as many companions as you can, so sometimes they are going to update their list, and by doing that you can find some good avians with some good affixes. And this is how I managed to have all these good affixes, because that guy here decided to share some of his good avians with 2 legendary affixes. This one, I remember that I started breeding with this one. I was able to get my first avian with 2 legendary affixes, and then I worked with that again and again, and I got great affixes today thanks to that. So back in here, I covered everything in detail about the avians, and now it's time to try to see if I am lucky or not. So let's just open these. And here, another legendary, and here, yeah, this is not a legendary. I had a lot more chance to obtain a normal one. The frost egg is the normal one. And then you have the magic egg, and it means that you're gonna have only a blue avian. So here, let's go to that section and hatch all of them and see if I am lucky inside of them. So let's check that. Here, this is very, very sad, but I had absolutely no luck. One more time, even if you have the perfect affixes on your avians that you're breeding together, you need some luck if you want to have the best baby ever, okay? There is just nothing to do to just bypass the system and have all the affixes you want directly. So you need some luck, and here I had no luck at all. So if you have a few affixes that you want to use, then just save your avians. Otherwise, you can just select them all and just salvage them all. Something more very important, the rarer your avian, the more the fruits you're going to acquire. So it's recommended to try to breed only legendaries, so you are going to get more experience to level up your avians. and every time you level up your Avian by 10 levels, all the affixes are gonna get enhanced. So guys, that was all I had to say about the Avians. I hope that you enjoyed the video. If it's the case, don't forget to hit the like button. Have a really nice day guys, and take care. See you on the next one. Bye bye.